been another wonderful day to be with you, my mathematics learners. Today, we are going to discuss about the intercepts, zeros, and asymptotes of a rational function. Teacher Elizabeth Kitola here. The intercepts of a rational function are points of intersection of its graph and an axis. There are two types of intercepts. You have the x-intercept and the y-intercept. The y-intercept of the graph of a rational function r of x, if it is exists, occurs at r of 0, provided that r of x is defined at x is equal to 0. To find the y-intercept, simply evaluate the function at x is equal to 0. The x-intercept of the graph of a rational function r of x, if it exists, occurs at zeros of the numerator that are not zeros of the denominators. To find the x-intercept, equate the function to 0. Figure 1, showing the intercepts and the zeros of the function. Let's take the following examples. Let's have the first example. Find the x and y intercepts of the following rational functions. The first one is f of x is equal to 3 minus x all over by x plus 1. Second, f of x is equal to 3x all over by x plus 3. And the third one is f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 2 all over by x squared minus 4. Let's take the solutions. Number 1, to find the x-intercept, we need to equate the function to 0. Given your rational function f of x is equal to 3 minus x all over by x plus 1, first step is for us to change f of x to 0. So you have 0 is equal to 3 minus x all over by x plus 1. By symmetric property of equality, we will have 3 minus x all over by x plus 1 is equal to 0. This is also the same with your equation above. Taking your numerator, you have 3 minus x is equal to 0. Next, transpose positive 3 to the other side of the equation. You will have negative 3. Since we don't have any value for negative x, we will just multiply both sides by negative 1. So you will have now x is equal to 3. By analyzing the example, we can say that to find the x-intercept, simply equate the numerator of the function to 0. To find the y-intercept, change the x value of the function to 0. Given the function f of x is equal to 3 minus x all over by x plus 1, we are just going to substitute 0 to x values of the function. So in your given, you have 3 minus, instead of putting x, you will change x to 0. So you have 3 minus 0 all over by, instead of putting x, you will have 0 plus 1. Then we will just simplify the given fraction. You have f of x is equal to 3 over 1, or that is also equal to positive 3. So, the y-intercept is 3, or that is 0 and 3. Why do we put 3 in the second place in an ordered pair? Because as we all know, in the arrangement of an ordered pair, x is your first set of ordered pair and y is your second set of ordered pair. Let's take example number 2. f of x is equal to 3x all over by x plus 3. Again, to find the x-intercept, simply equate the numerator to 0. So you have 0 equals 3x. Next is to interchange by symmetric property of equality. 3x is equal to 0, which is also the same in your equation above. So you have 3x is equal to 0, divide both sides by 3. So you will get now, cancel 3, x is equal to 0. So the x-intercept is 0 or 0, 0. To find the y-intercept, change the x value of the function to 0. So you have f of x is equal to 3x all over by x plus 3. Again, we are going to substitute 0 to x values of the function. So f of x is equal to 3 times 0 all over by 0 plus 3. Then we are going to simplify the given fraction. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. 0 divided by 3 is equal to 0. The value of f of x or y-intercept. So, the y-intercept is 0 or 0, 0. Let's take example number 3. F of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 2 all over by x squared minus 4. First step is for us to equate the numerator to 0. You have x squared minus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. By factoring, we will get x minus 2 times x minus 1 is equal to 0. We will solve for x by zero product property. Equating x minus 2 to 0, we will have x minus 2 is equal to 0. Transpose negative 2 to the other side becomes positive 2. Your x is now equal to 2. The second one is x minus 1 equals 0. Transpose negative 1 to the other side becomes positive 1. X is now equal to positive 1. So the x-intercepts are x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 1. But by looking at the denominator of the original function, if we substitute 2 to the value of x, we will have x squared is equal to 4. That is also equal to 2 squared minus 4 that is also equal to 0. The denominator will become 0. The function becomes meaningless. So, we will only accept x-intercept at x is equal to 1 or 1 and 0. To find the y-intercept, we will have f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 2 all over by x squared minus 4. We will change the value of x of a function to 0. So you have 0 squared minus 3 times 0 plus 2 all over by 0 squared minus 4. Simplifying further, you have f of x is equal to 2 all over by negative 4. Reducing, you can have f of x is equal to negative 1 half. So, the y-intercept is negative 1 half or 0 and negative 1 half. The zeros of a function are the values of x which will make the function 0. Let's take the following examples. Determine the zeros of the following rational functions. G of x is equal to x minus 2 all over by x plus 6. H of x is equal to x minus 3 all over by x squared minus 9. And the last one, g of x is equal to x squared plus x minus 2 all over by x squared minus 4. To find the zeros of a rational function, we are going to equate the function to 0 or solve for x-intercept of the function by equating the numerator to 0. Given example number 1, g of x is equal to x minus 2 all over by x plus 6. Taking up the numerator, x minus 2 is equal to 0. Transpose negative 2, your x now is equal to 2. Thus, the 0 of g of x is 2. Example number 2. h of x is equal to x minus 3 all over by x squared minus 9. We are going to simplify by factoring the denominator. Factors of your denominator are x minus 3 and x plus 3. Given that factors, we are going to remove the common factors in your numerator and denominator, which is x minus 3. We are going to equate the numerator to 0. So you will have 1 all over by x plus 3 is equal to 0. So equating your numerator, you have 1 is equal to 0, which is a false statement. So there is no 0 of the function, which means that no point on the graph touches the x-axis. Let's take example number 3. g of x is equal to x squared plus x minus 2 all over by x squared minus 4. Simplify by factoring both the numerator and denominator. The factors of your numerator are x plus 2 and x minus 1. For your denominator, your factors are x plus 2 and x minus 2. Remove the common factors in your numerator and denominator, which will give you now x minus 1 and x minus 2. Again, taking up your numerator, you have x minus 1. Equate it to 0, x minus 1 equals 0. Then transpose negative 1 to the other side becomes positive 1. Therefore, your x is now equal to 1. Thus, the 0 of g of x is equal to 1. An asymptote is an imaginary line to which a graph gets closer and closer as x or y increases or decreases its value without limit. Vertical asymptote. The vertical line x is equal to a is a vertical asymptote of a function f if the graph increases or decreases without bound as the x values approaches a from the right or left. See illustration below. Finding the vertical asymptote. To determine the vertical asymptote of a rational function, first, reduce the given function to simplest form, then find the zeros of the denominator that are not zeros of the numerator. Let's take example below. Determine the vertical asymptote of each rational function. A. F of x is equal to x minus 1 all over by x plus 5. B. F of x is equal to x plus 2 all over by x plus 1 times x minus 4. Letter C. G of x is equal to 2x squared minus x plus 1 all over by x squared minus 6x plus 9. Solutions. The 0 of the numerator is 1 and the 0 of the denominator is negative 5. Taking up your denominator, you have x plus 5, equate it to 0, x plus 5 equals 0, so transpose positive 5 to the other side, therefore your x is equal to negative 5, and that negative 5 will be now your vertical asymptote. For letter B, the zeros of the numerator is negative 2, and the zeros of the denominator are negative 1 and 4. Therefore, your vertical asymptotes are negative 1 and positive 4. Since if we equate x plus 1 is equal to 0 and x minus 4 is equal to 0, we will get negative 1 and positive 4, which will be now your vertical asymptotes. For letter C, since the function is in quadratic form, we are going to reduce it to simplest form. The simplest form of g of x is equal to 2x squared minus x plus 1 all over by x squared minus 6x plus 9 is g of x is equal to factors of your numerator is 2x plus 1 times x minus 1 all over by the factors of your denominator, which is x minus 3 and x minus 2. Therefore, the zeros of your numerator are negative 1/2 and 1. The zeros of the denominator are 3 and 2. Therefore, your vertical asymptote will be 2 and 3. Horizontal asymptote. The horizontal line y is equal to b is a horizontal asymptote of the function f if f of x gets closer to b as x increases or decreases without bound. To determine the horizontal asymptote of a rational function, compare the degree of the numerator n and the degree of the denominator d. We have the first condition: if your n or your numerator is less than the degree of the denominator, therefore the horizontal asymptote y is equal to 0. The second condition: if the degree of your numerator is equal to the degree of your denominator, the horizontal asymptote y is the ratio of the leading coefficient of the numerator a to the leading coefficient of the denominator b. That is, y is equal to a over b. For the last condition, if your degree of the numerator is greater than the degree of your denominator, therefore, there is no horizontal asymptote. Note, a rational function may or may not cross its horizontal asymptote. If the function does not cross the horizontal asymptote, y is equal to b, and then b is not part of the range of a rational function. Let's have the given examples below. You have 3 given examples. You have a, b, and c. For letter a, you have f of x is equal to 3x plus 8 all over by x squared plus 1. Again, looking at the degree or in the exponent of your letter a, your highest degree there is squared, which is in your denominator. Since your denominator or degree of the denominator is greater than your numerator, therefore your asymptote is equal to 0. Letter B, f of x is equal to 3 plus 8x squared all over by x squared plus 1. Observe that your exponent in your numerator and denominator is equal. Therefore, we are going to get the leading coefficient of your numerator and denominator. In your given, your leading coefficient for your numerator is 8. Why 8? Because that is the coefficient or the constant number together with x squared. So 8 over the leading coefficient for x squared is 1. So you have 8 over 1, or that is also equal to 8. Next example, g of x is equal to 8x cubed minus 1 all over by 1 minus x squared. As you can see, the degree of the numerator is greater than the degree of the denominator. Therefore, there is no horizontal asymptote in the given. That's all for today. I hope you learned more on rational functions. If you think you learned something, then don't forget to subscribe.